Scientists just discovered a new mountain higher than Mount Everest. Throughout the evolution of our planet, a number of historical natural wonders have arisen. From the mountains to the oceans and volcanoes, each of these natural wonders has a distinct makeup. Scientists have been researching these natural wonders to see if any new developments have occurred, and a surprising discovery has recently revealed the analysis of a new mountain. Welcome to Just Tech. This new mountain was found by scientists to be even taller than Mount Everest. Where is the location of the new mountain? Does it have the same hazardous weather as Mount Everest? Since researchers have discovered a new peak that is higher than Mount Everest, we have a fresh perspective on mountain height. These natural beauties may be measured in a variety of ways, leading to a variety of height ranges for the same mountain. A mountain that rises to a height of 29,029 feet makes it difficult to determine its elevation relative to the surrounding landscape or above sea level. The highest peak in the world above sea level is Mount Everest. In the middle of the 19th century, the riddle surrounding the height of this mighty mountain was resolved, and it was recorded in history as the planet's highest peak. As a consequence, when the subject of our planet's highest point is raised, everyone comes to an understanding. Mount Everest is the highest point on the globe, and in reality, the idea that Mount Everest is the highest point in the world has been so ingrained in people's minds that most of them don't think twice before responding. And we frequently draw comparisons between Mount Everest and other large mountains in the solar system, such as Olympus Mons on Mars. However, there have been suspicions that Everest does not legitimately hold the title of being the highest point on Earth, even before this most recent finding was uncovered. These hypotheses exist because of the makeup of our planet. In this regard, we are referring to the contours of our globe. The form of the Earth is more akin to an oblate spheroid than a perfect sphere. A sort of sphere with a protrusion from the center is called an oblate spheroid. When scientists and researchers sought to uncover the cause of the problem, Mount Everest and the Himalayan mountain range came up short. The planet has just undergone several measurements. The results revealed that our planet has an equatorial radius of 6,378.1 kilometers and a polar radius of 6,356.8 kilometers. In other words, items discovered near the poles are 22 kilometers closer to the Earth's center than objects found around the equator. There are, of course, certain geomorphological changes in the region where things distant from the equator are closer to or farther away from the Earth's center than other objects in the same area. The Mariana Trench, the deepest location on Earth, is one of the most significant outliers, dropping to 35,797 feet below local sea level, whereas Mount Everest is 29,029 feet above local sea level. The two geological characteristics, however, only slightly differ from the general shape of the Earth, 0.17% and 0.14% respectively. With a peak elevation of approximately 82,848 meters above sea level, Mount Everest is one of the highest peaks on Earth. However, because of its location inside of the Himalayan mountain range in Nepal, some 27 degrees and 59 minutes north of the equator, it is lower than the mountains in Ecuador. The highest point on Earth is the peak of Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador, where the Andes mountain range has a significant impact on the landscape. Since the Earth is an oblate spheroid due to gravity's pull on it, only the 39th tallest peak in the Andes, Mount Chimborazo, receives the honor of being the tallest mountain in the world. While not even close to the tallest mountains from sea level, Mount Chimborazo sits confidently on this bulging equator, and as a result is 7,096 feet farther from the center of the Earth than the summit of Mount Everest, which is located in the middle of Agual and Quito. Initially, Mount Chimborazo was a dormant volcano. It consists of many peaks, including Nicholas Martinez and Polytechnica Whymper. The mountain's highest peak is Whymper. It's unclear how Chimborazo obtained its name, although some legends claim that it came from the combination of the words Xingbu, which in the Chiapa language means women, and Raza, which is Quechua meaning snow, or more literally, women of snow. However, locals who are familiar with the peak call it Erkaratza, or the Peak of Ice. Although such reports may not be entirely true, it was widely accepted until the 19th century that Mount Chimborazo was the tallest peak in the world. The French geodesic mission of 1746 was only one of several attempts to reach the summit. Before we move on, for more interesting content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And also, don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever new videos are posted. Despite the team's failure to reach the summit, their study in 1746 confirmed the Earth's form as an oblate spheroid. The material on the map put together by this French mission and other early explorers, notably Alexander von Humboldt, is supported by Manuel Villavicencio's 1858 map of Ecuador. Alexander von Humboldt, a renowned explorer, scientist, and cartographer, traveled through South and Central America between 1799 and 1804. When the climbing team reached a height of 15,600 feet in 1802, when he arrived in Ecuador, he attempted to climb to the peak of Chimborazo. Despite the opposition of the majority, Humboldt continued his journey with Amy Bon, his traveling companion, and Carlos Montufar, an Ecuadorian. The peak of Mount Chimborazo is located at a height of 6,263.47 meters above sea level. However, it has a natural boost of around 21 kilometers since it is located at 1 degree 28 minutes south of the equator at the highest point of the planet's bulge. Everest is located 3,965 miles from the geocenter when we compare Mount Everest and Chimborazo based on their distances from the planet's center. In Chimborazo's case, the peak is 3,967 miles away, giving us a 2-mile discrepancy in the distances. Although it may not seem like much of a difference, it is important to be accurate when discussing titles and rankings. Some would still emphasize that Mount Everest is still the highest peak on Earth, notwithstanding this investigation by experts and scholars. As they started to measure Everest, Sir George Everest's successor, Andrew Warr, was the one who authorized a thorough study of the Himalayas. The triangulation technique was used by war surveyors. By measuring the distance between several sites and the mountain, observers checked the peaks using the triangulation method. They can then determine the angle between Everest Peak and their observation points. However, given the angle and the distance, basic trigonometry was used to determine the mountain's height relative to the observer. Unfortunately, the team ran into problems with atmospheric angle or the bending of light over long distances, making it impossible to measure the sea level. Refraction creates a mirage-like effect when the item passes through various air densities, giving the impression that it is shorter or taller than it actually is. Long distances make it worse, and other form elements make it worse. Political issues prevent surveyors from coming extremely close to the peak, which is one of these factors. Most of Warr's observations were made from a distance of more than 100 miles as a result of these problems. Despite this obstacle, the surveyors were able to get a measurement of 29,002 feet that was exceptionally precise. For the next 100 years, the mountain was measured again to validate this measurement. When entrance was finally allowed, close inspections were possible. Long distances make it worse, and different elements have different impacts. That's all for today. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. Also, express your valuable thoughts in the comments section below. Until then, bye! Also, spend some time watching other videos on the channel.